As you know, it has been a very long time since I have made a video. I'll get to that in a minute. But I've been saving and saving up all of my thrift finds that I've been finding over the last a long while. And so we have some major show and tell to do today. Welcome back, my lovely ladies and gents. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's get to it. Well, it has been a very long time since my last video. If you follow along with me, you will probably know that that has been due to a computer. I want to say it exploded because it sounds way more dramatic, but it had a bit of a meltdown, and then one thing after another. I needed different solutions and something fell through and needed something else. I need something really good for video editing, obviously, and it took a very, very long time. But here we are, back on track again, and I'm so happy to be back here making some videos. First things first, I've been saving up all my thrift haul items that I find, and it has been months, like months and months. So there's quite a lot that I have like gathered here just to show you, because I know how much you enjoy seeing the little treasures that I find, because it is the most sustainable way that we can do shopping, is by finding things that are already in existence, and by using secondhand and thrift and vintage. It is the most sustainable way that we can do fashion, do our lifestyles. And so I like doing these hauls because I know, you tell me, it gives you so much inspiration of like what you can find, all the goodies that are out there. So let's just get into it. I have like clothing, an umbrella, jewelry, sewing things, a really, really amazing vintage piece. So let's start with this guy that's knocking everything over. I found this when I went thrift shopping. Ooh, hang on, it's spring-loaded. Ooh. When I went vintage shopping with my dear friend Tina, and I can't believe this. It's black and white, spotted, has the frill down the bottom. I'm yet to test this in the rain to see if it's actually waterproof, but there do not appear to be any holes in it. So I love a nice umbrella like this. A red organza scarf. Look at this little peacock brooch that I found. When I first saw it, I couldn't decide whether I loved it or hated it. You know, when you look at something and you can't decide whether it is just so fabulous or pretty gruesome. But I decided he's okay. I decided that it was fabulous and needed to come home with me. This one I picked up at a garage sale from a church. Okay, I got these doilies. There's like 6 or 8 of them in this like yellow. And I just thought that, like, because there's so many of them, they could be great to like use around the border of a skirt or put on some, you know, beautiful white cotton dress or something. I just couldn't leave them behind. So this cutesy palm brooch was gifted to me by my mum, who found it thrift stall shopping, and little palm trees. I love it. And she also found this little hat pin, because you know I love a good hat pin. If you don't know what these are for, I have a video on that. I'm going to link it up here somewhere. These are oh so fabulous. I found them, even though they are missing some diamantes, I didn't care. These are shoe clips. So just will like stick on both buckles of the shoe. They're beautiful, like 20s, 30s, 40s, like just add some evening wear glam. Even though they're missing crystals, I don't think you'll see them all the way in your feet, and I think they were 50 cents. So how could I leave those behind? Okay, some clothing. This little like elasticized smocking red rayon top definitely came home with me. This is awesome summer vibes that I cannot wait now that it's clearly getting cooler here. All the summer tops, another one. Again, a rayon, just a beautiful color, soft, drapey in the red. So cute with like a little 30s skirt for a nice 30s summer wear. That'd be fantastic in summer. So I may have found this one just this morning and might have prompted me to just sort of have to get in and film this. Look at this. Alright. I am absolutely loving the Edwardian vibes on this dress. It is amazing. It is rayon. Unfortunately, the blue isn't at the back. Look at the sheer sleeves. this embroidery through here. I think I actually might even bead this. The only thing that really needs doing to it is it's probably a little bit short, particularly for this look. It's kind of just below the knee. I'd like to see it more a little bit calf length. So it really just needs a little bit of length, maybe some beading, and this little mark that is like here. I can't believe I found this. Just that like early 20s Edwardian type, teens, I shouldn't say Edwardian, teens sort of look. One last more of the clothing before I get into the sewing things. Look at this beauty. I know. Floor length, liquid silk satin, hand embroidered, hand smocked, vintage dressing gown. It laces up at the sides. So there is a bit of a story to this one. I first saw it months and months and months ago in the store, and it was extremely expensive because I guess they thought or knew it was vintage as well and knew it was something special and put a very high price tag on it that I could not do. So it stayed in the store and I went back not even thinking about it again and I saw it there. And it has a price tag of only $15 on it now. But as you might imagine, with being in a thrift store, it has endured the customers in said thrift store, and there is far more wear and tear than when I last saw it. So there is unfortunately, I think, a little heel hole in it here. That's probably the worst damage. Some of the laces split, the smockings come undone a little bit here and there, and one of the side lacings has now disappeared. But that's okay. I will do my best to repair, and actually on further inspection when looking at this gown, there is some stories underneath there. It has been repaired, chopped, changed, but that would be another story for another day. If you are interested in the kind of looking underneath and telling the story of vintage gowns like this, let me know, because I did show my Instagram followers a little look underneath and what I thought had happened and everything. Let me know if you're interested in seeing that here. Okay, fab little garage sale I went to. Lady was selling all of these things, lots of sewing things. So I got some hair canvas, which is really great to have on hand. This is a really soft one. And this wool blend, it's a grey, it's kind of got a metallic through it, the little fleck of colour as well. It's quite interesting and it's a nice weight, and I think it will be fabulous for a nice woolen skirt for this season is now coming into winter for me. At the same garage store, this lady, she was a lovely old lady who was also a seamstress, and get out of it and look at all these buttons I got. There are so many. There's some shell, there's some colors, some little like clear plastic ones with this little detail. Little small color ones are always great for changing them up on men's shirts. As you know, I do a lot of that. It's the kind of thing that when you see them all like this, you have to get them because you'll never find secondhand when you need it. You can't just go out and just find it. So you end up with quite a stash, but that's okay with me. I enjoy looking through my stash. It brings me much joy and happiness. And these are going into my stash now. A few little sewing books. My mum actually got me these. This one is a quick sew home method for sewing lingerie from 1989. So you can imagine the styles in here. It comes with patterns in the front. It's quite good. The illustrations are really lovely, and it sort of shows you how to sew all the elastics at home. So she knows I like these sorts of things. So she got this one, and because it's like a pair, you can't like not, like you can't separate the twins, right? And so that one is just a regular sewing book from the same brand, same time. And she also knows that I'm just being obsessed by embroidery, FYI. I think you'll see some things coming in the future on that. And got me this beautiful book on crewel work, as there are some delightful designs in here. And this is like the Bible of fabric. So it is basically a fabric dictionary. In here is listed every single fabric and about at least 1,000 more that I've never even heard of in here. Literally like a dictionary, and just explaining each fabric type, like the name of this type of fabric. So I love, love, love all types of resources like this. Vintage and modern sometimes, like this one, is a really great reference. Whew, okay, I gave you a sneak peek on my Instagram about this and you guys went crazy. So this was another garage sale that I went to before I was teaching some classes one Saturday morning. And well, basically it's an entire box of Vintage Vogue magazines. Patterns, not magazines. Vintage Vogue patterns. Okay, not an entire box, but almost Vintage Vogue. It's an entire box of patterns. So these days I'm really only getting patterns that are for vintage resources. So actual patterns from different decades for reference as to how actually things were cut, made, constructed at that time. These are reproductions. So these are what Vogue has reproduced, and there are ones from, I have like this one I've seen for a very long time and I have wanted this one. This is my favorite out of the whole lot. It's a 1930s evening gown, backless. It'll just be to die for. I'm definitely going to make up this one, so look out for that. Most are 30s, 40s, 50s in here. A lot 40s, 50s, as that is what most people like sewing. Still, even though they've reproduced, what I would really be interested in doing is finding the originals and actually matching them up to their reproduction patterns and seeing how they match up, because I know they make quite some changes to kind of modernize it for fit and just different shapes that we're more used to now. So they do change them up a little bit, which is a little bit sad for me because I like to see that original fit. But these are still a wonderful collection to have. Okay, there's all of these ones as well. They were the ones without their cases. I know, you're all drooling. So things like this, I doubt I will ever probably make this up ever. Maybe one day I'll have a client that will like it, so I still like it for that reason. Then a few other random ones I got, some, I can't help myself with these like designer ones, particularly from Vogue. Yeah, some Lagerfeld. These pants look adorable and very vintage-esque, so I think I might give it a try. I just love getting all of these things secondhand like this, because these will literally get thrown in the garbage. If she didn't sell them that day, she was going to throw them out. Like most of these other things, they probably would have ended up in landfill had I not got them. So, and then I've saved all of these new things from being reprinted if I buy them new. Hence why secondhand and thrift store shopping is the most sustainable way that we can do our sewing and our fashion and like lifestyle. I get heaps of my things around home all thrifted and secondhand, and I know you guys do too. So I love seeing that. So let me know below, what is your favorite here? What would you have not left without either? I always love to know what you like. So thank you very, very much for watching, and until next time, bye. I know. It's okay.